Start talking about setting up some very basic guides. So I just opened up a blank file. I just set it up as an 11 by 17, but you can set it up however you like. I'm going to open up the rulers first of all. So I'm going to come down here to View, click on Show Rulers, and I should now be able to see the rulers on the top and on the left. And to get a new guide on here, I'm just going to click and drag from this top ruler and just click and drag down. And I now have a new guideline. And I could also do the same thing on the left-hand side. I just click and drag one over. And as soon as you click one over, depending on the settings, it automatically locks the guides. So I can't, once it's placed, I can't move it unless I unlock it. I could go down here to View, Guides, Unlock. So once I unlock them, I'm now able to move them around where I want. Once I get them into the correct position, I could always come back and just hide them. I'm going to come back and show them again. If I want to make sure that they're snapping to a very specific location, like just say as an example, I want this guide to be half an inch or 1 inch over and then 1 inch down. One thing I can try to do is I can zoom in a little bit. And I can now see my ruler up here, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4. And I can try to get it as close as possible. And if I zoom in a lot, I can see that I got pretty close. If I want to make sure it's exactly at a set location, I could always turn on the grid. Show grid. And by default, the grid is set up where the major grid lines are at every inch, and the smaller grid lines are at every 1/8 of an inch, I believe. So if I move this over here to the screen, I can see the 0. Yeah, there's a marker at the 1/8 of an inch, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and so on until it gets up to the major line of 1 inch. And again, I'm able to move this around, but I'm still eyeballing it unless I go back and go to Snap to Grid. And then now as I move this around, it snaps at my grid lines. So I can have this, for example, I can have this at 1 inch. I can now move this up 1 inch. And if I added 2 more, turn off my grid, hide it, and snap to grid. I've now set up just some very basic grid lines just to start to lay out my board.